Time for an update on this one. Why am I updating this right now? Well, with the COVID, post-COVID, are we post-COVID, supply chain stuff, I've had problems getting parts for this thing. It got taken apart here at the end of my driveway, and it's been sitting here for a bit, and the county's on my case. So, hopefully, the next few days, this is changing dramatically. So, what's the deal with this thing? This is a stock bottom end 305. Basically, it's a 87 Trans Am, and the bottom end is an 87 305 with, I believe, 123,000 miles on it. What's been done to it? Yeah, the aluminum heads are actually LT1 4th gen or Corvette style LT1 heads, which I have welded all the coolant passages shut and rerouted. The coolant was actually routed using the Smoky Enoch NASCAR style deal, where it actually comes out the front of the cylinder head, and I used the crossover on a small block manifold as a thermostat housing, and I've run those in there. There's actually no water running from the cylinder head side. The cam is a custom cam. The intake manifold is a really old school Victor Jr. that somebody back in the day actually did a really nice job porting. So I picked it up on eBay and converted it to fuel injection. I added the fuel injector bosses and all that. I added the welded elbow at the top, an LS style truck throttle body, and there's just a whole assortment of parts on here. Nothing is original. For example, the alternator is a CS144 out of a Fleetwood Brougham limo. I needed more capacity because I'm running a little tiny battery. That is either a Harley Sportster or like a uninterruptible power supply, a UPS computer power supply battery. That the whole thing weighs something like 9 pounds. And I've got dual fans from a LS style F body. I've got a Type 2 power steering pump, mostly because I couldn't get the original pump to work. I couldn't find a rebuild that worked, and nothing seemed to work. So this is a combination of LSF body parts and an S10 remote reservoir. What else? I think that's everything in here. This is all controlled by a Mega Squirt. It was running, for some reason the Mega Squirt lost its sync signal. I have to figure out why to get it running again. I'm hoping that that's just something minor. So what's the major problem? Well, you can see the strut towers don't have anything in them. And it's been swapped over to the customized UMI cross member, and from here I'm making my own brackets and some other things to put weight jacks in here. See, there's no spring pocket or anything on this one. Now, I did actually make a 3D printed little jig that lined up a 1/4 inch drill bit that showed me where the spring pocket should go and then where the weight jack screw will go. And then I used that jig to drill 1/4 inch hole through the bottom and top of the frame. This one came out over there. This one came out right under the brakes. You can kind of see it right in there. I don't know if it's bright enough to see it or not, but that's kind of the deal. I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to show you the individual parts that are going on here and what's happening with all of it. Alright, so let's start with the weight jacks. From UMI, the UMI K members actually come with spring pockets that look like that. They bolt in separately, and I've removed them, clearly, since I've got to hold it in my hand. But the way the weight jacks are going to work is I designed some brackets that basically follow that pattern. They're fairly heavy. They're 1/4 inch thick steel, and when I did the DXF for the bracket, I also did a DXF that has fold lines, and I'm going to dump it in my press brake and actually fold it on those lines, getting roughly kind of that profile at those angles. These plates are reinforcement plates for the center section so it doesn't twist up. And if I haven't said it yet, Send Cut Sent is actually a really cool service. You could send them your patterns and they will actually cut out and do most of the stuff. Basically, these are laser cut steel. They'll laser cut out your brackets and send them to you in a couple days. So all you have to do is design them. So that is a weight jack nut. It is threaded for a Zerk fitting, and then that matches that hole, and that hole is reinforced with that. Hopefully we're all on the screen. Yeah. So each side will have one of these bolted to the K member underneath, and then where I showed you the 1/4 inch pilot holes, I'm going to have a through hole. Then the actual weight jack, well, I was originally going to make my own cups and things, but I'm running out of time. So what we're doing is a set of these swivel cups. Now, that is the weight jack bolt, and fits the nut. Glad it fits the nut. I haven't tried this yet. Anyway, then from there, it has a little spring-loaded detent, and that's the spring pocket with the bearing in there, making a swiveler pocket. So we'll have this on top, and then these welded, bolted to the body, and all of it's going to get powder coated. For the springs, at least until now, or for the springs at least for now, I have a few sets of springs. That I've cut to specific lengths and specific spring rates, and had them powder coated to match the rest of my stuff. And essentially that drops in the pocket. I have some polyurethane actual spring seats that actually fit in that space and take up all that space, and that's going to be my arrangement. The couple of different springs I've got are, these are actually stock WS6 springs that have a coil taken off of them, I think coil and a half actually, to get the spring rate right around 900 pounds per inch. And that's probably going to be the first test. I also have some cut eye-box springs that I've got powder coated to match. A few other things. Alright, brakes next. I won't show you everything here because, well, a lot of it's in the trunk of my car, and this isn't that different than what a lot of other people have done. The big difference is that I'm using C4 non-HD brakes. The reason I'm doing that is because they give me a little bit more, like an 1.25 inch bigger brake that still fits under 15-inch wheels, and it's also about 13 or 14 pounds lighter per side than the stock brakes. Again, sand cut sand. I drew up my brackets, sent them to the DXFs, and they sent me back these nice laser cut brackets. These brackets will bolt to the stock spindles. You cut off the little ears on them. I'm sure there's, you know, if you want to see exact instructions, I may show them later, but there's loads of information on thirdgen.org how to do this. You cut the little ears off, you bolt it on through those holes, and then you bolt on the abutment brackets for the calipers. These are a set of C4 PBR calipers that I cleaned up and powder coated. They look kind of funky, but this stuff is all dust that I need to get off of them. It's from sitting on this car cover that's disintegrating. And these are powder coated to match the rest of the suspension parts. And I've got a rebuild kit for them. So these are the front brackets. You use the front abutment brackets with that, and then you put it all together with, well, I think if I get the spacing right and everything, rear C4 calipers, or I'm sorry, not calipers, rotors, which are the same diameter but have a thinner hat, which makes everything lighter. So, oh, and otherwise I have a old set of Russell braided brake lines for, this is actually for a 3rd gen. They're labeled as for 84 through 92. They actually have the same size ends as the Corvette parts. I've got the center braided line already on the car, and these will bolt up the front calipers. Alright, control arms next. This is a little simpler. These are actually replacements for another set. I haven't opened these yet, but let's see how they look. Then, you know, my tubular control arms. As always, this stuff is very nicely packaged. Pull it out. There we go. That's a UMI tubular control arm. This has the Delrin sort of solid rear bushings. They're not solid, they do give some, but it takes quite a bit of load. The basic pivots on that. I am not going to use the stock ball joints. Instead, I'm using the Summit SUM 7711303 They're basically stock size ball joints that are 1 inch longer than stock. So they're really nicely made. If you look at them, they stick up quite a bit more than stock. That is going to change the front roll center of the front suspension, and it's going to compensate for lowering the front of the car. Now, these I believe are Prothane parts. I can't find the box. They are the only, these are actually, I think, originally designed to be run without any kind of boots on them. They're race parts, but I found some Prothane parts that fit really nicely on these. So if I dig up a part number, I'll post that. But that's going in the control arms, and that all is nice and easy. All right, finally, rear suspension. Can't have all this nice adjustable stuff on the front without something new on the back. The back suspension is a Moser rear that I made all adjustable brackets for and everything. I was in the process of piecing together some weight jacks. I've seen some really marginal weight jack setups on F-bodies. What ends up happening is the stock pockets and the body side pockets are not lined up, so you get a weight jack that wants to squirt out the back. With the Moser stuff, the Moser brackets make it even harder. I finally decided, forget it. I need some nice adjustable shocks in the back, and it's an opportunity to upgrade. This may or may not happen with this. This will probably be the last thing. Because, well, I can move it and satisfy the counting without putting these on. But let's open these up and see what they look like. Now, I got into a bit of a discussion. These are from Founders. With the engineer at Founders. I forgot his name right now. I will probably look it up and post it for you guys. Really nice guy, and went way out of his way to help me. I decided to go with the Viking Performance shocks, and we were debating whether or not I wanted the normal length or shorter ones, and he actually looked up Viking's chart and sent me all the specs, and we measured everything out. And then I noticed that what Viking was showing on their site did not match what Viking sent Founders as specs for the actual shocks. So he actually went and contacted Viking for me and got actual specs and everything. And we finally decided on a length, and part of the deal is that I fall right in between two lengths of shocks that they want, or that they make. But since I've got a Moser rear in there, Founders brackets don't fit. Oh, well, that's a nice bling. So, so those are the bushings for the ends, spherical ends, spacers, and C-clips. Then you've got a spring seat, steel seat, and we've got adjuster and lock washer. Almost look too nice to put under the car. So what I was saying is, my length fell right in between two different lengths, and then we both realized at about the same time that their brackets aren't going to work to bolt to the Moser rear anyway. So what I'm going to have to do is make a custom set of brackets, and I'll adjust the length of the brackets to fit with these shocks. It's put me right in the middle of the travel range. So that's a nice bling shock. If I use that word too much already, look at that spring. I believe these are actually powder coated silver. Again, way too nice to be putting under a car, especially. But I had him pick up spring rates, since everybody's spring rates or average rate recommendations didn't match, and also they're not expensive or that hard to swap ours outside and stuff. What else do we have in here? We have those are the lower shock brackets. I'm going to have to redesign those. That bolts to a stock bracket, but probably won't bolt to the Moser. So that is going to be the upper mount. Okay, so that's the upper mount. That goes up in the stock spring seat. Then that goes where the stock shock stud goes, and then the new shocks bolt in here. Nicely powder coated. I appreciate the fact that these are MIG welded and not TIG welded. Didn't waste my time and money with TIG welding the thing, and nicely done welds. That's the second one. Two spanner wrenches. Set of thrust washers and bearings for the spring seats. And a nice big box of, or a nice big bag of JH Grade 8 hardware. So I think that covers everything. Now, again, I said, well, now again, I'm dealing with the county, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have time to show actually modifying all these parts, getting them working and installing them, but I may just strictly go to them being installed to save a little bit of time, but we'll see. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Sway bars. That is a stock 36, 36 hollow. That's a 34 hollow. I've had the best luck with 32 solids. I'm hoping that 36 hollows for me, by the time I get everything working, tend to be a little on the stiff side. So if I don't like that, I've got a 34 hollow, which I'm hoping is going to be pretty close to the 32 solid that I've had really good luck with. And this is one of the mystery 25 millimeter rear sway bars. Almost everybody that thinks they've got a 25 actually has a 24. I've got a bunch of 24s. I've got a bunch of other stuff. I've got lots of choices here. But I think out of those three, I'm going to have a combination that I actually really like. So, again, this is how I'm hoping everything's going to come together. Now, like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to have much time to actually shoot video and stuff while I'm putting this together, and I may try to do something when I'm bending the brackets and stuff like that, but I will definitely show you guys how everything fits together when it's done. If I get a chance, I will actually show some of the putting it together also. Alright, thanks. You know, like they all say, like, comment, subscribe. I can use all the comments that that you guys can give me. I can use all the subscriptions you guys can give me. You know, I guess that's the way this thing works. So, talk to you later. Bye. One other thing I left out. All the little brackets and things. At one point I took them all apart, blasted them, and then powder coated them. So they're all set and ready to go. It's kind of cool to have so many shiny parts.